Greetings and salutations. This is Rick Koppel, signing in on my video blog and wanting to let you know that I'm okay. I'm doing pretty good. There's obviously some odd things that happened, like right here in my left eye, right on your side, is a splotch. Said it was common, happens with most people. About 2 or 3 days after, appeared about 2 days after my DBS surgery. So that often occurs. And so there you go. That's the worst side effect I've had. Aside for a little pain in the head, not much though. It's bearable. And I'd only taken one medication. Basically some hydrocortisone with acetaminophen, and it didn't really like the way that affected me, so I probably am not going to take any more. And I've lied enough on that. Strange thing about this surgery is there's not a lot of pain with it, because you're just dealing with the head, and when you deal with the head, you open it up. The only nerve endings you have is in your scalp, essentially, and as you work through that, then you really just don't have much pain otherwise. So I've been taking it easy, obviously. Yesterday I had a little bit of technical difficulties in trying to get this out, one thing after another. Computer didn't want to operate correctly, and had a lot of difficulties. But I'm clearer today. Things are moving along smoother, and I'm doing well. As you can see, I've still got some tremors, obviously. Of course, I just took my medicine, so I'm waiting for that to kick in, really. And I don't really have any bad things to report. I do have some interesting experiences through the DBS, so I guess I'll relate those to you now. When I first woke up in there and was moving, they prepared me and did all the prep stuff that they do for surgery. And then that doctor was about 2 hours late, so we were sitting there waiting for a while. But finally they said it was time for me to go in. So they prepped me and rolled me down the hallway. My poor wife, said bye, and she apparently was crying because who knows what I was going to end up like when I came back. She was hoping for the best, and it seems like that's pretty much what happened, the best. And so they wheeled me into this room. Now this room is kind of like a sci-fi thing, which is real appropriate for me, I think. Sci-fi, and they even had sci-fi sounding sounds to the machinery. They have this thing that will go over you that scan you on occasion. They'd take a scan every once in a while, and it would kind of go, and then a little bit, and then have this real sounding sci-fi sound, like pew 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 pew, like that, every so often. And they would do that over a regular occasion when they wanted to scan the brain to see where the things were at. And they had a real interesting setup. They were still obviously trying to get used to it, like this, like I said at the beginning of this. This is kind of like a new machine for them, so they were still trying to get the workflow down. And so they were doing a little experimenting not on me, but on the machine, as far as what it could do, and that kind of thing. So I laid back. Doctor said, "Okay, this is you're gonna feel a little sting," as he put it, and I felt a sting. I guess that was the numbing going into effect, and then not too long after that, it started to cut. Now, the interesting thing was that I could feel them cutting on me, but it wasn't hurting me any. And you kind of have to be aware of what you're doing. And there were times during the whole process they tried to keep me on the edge of being out, so that whenever they would go along, they would switch me over to a different. They'd bring me in and bring me out, bring me in and bring me out as they needed to. But there was one instance where I remember where they was talking, and I was thinking, they're talking like they're not expecting me to hear this. And so I said, "Am I supposed to be awake at this point?" And the doctor said, "Increase the anesthesia, whatever the name of the actual medication was." And I'd really think for a good part of it, maybe I wasn't supposed to be aware of what was going on, but I was, because I heard them debating therapy methods and stuff. They would say, "Well, we really should try this and do this and this." And the doctor would say, "Well, let's just see what happens," and the other things of that nature. And so they would put it on down, and and they would they had to put it on down, and they would put it on down into their, and they would put it, basically bring it about to where, you have to excuse me, I'm kind of breathing. My medication, like I still says, hasn't kicked in, so I'm tremoring quite bad. But the DBS they actually put in, they would go down, they would rattle off some numbers. So it's usually about 8.9, 8.8, 8.6, 8.7, 8.5, 8, and then they go all the way down until they got down to 0. And that was when they hit target. And they would target it, they would stop, they would run some tests. And these tests were like, hold out your right hand in the air, and then start circling your left hand and counting back from 99 by 3s or 5s or 6s. They would do different numbers at different times. And so I would do that. The left hand seemed to do pretty good. It was first in my right side to affect my left hand, and then they did the left side in order to affect my right hand. And so the left side seemed to work pretty well. Right side seemed a little bit more difficult for them to zero in on, but I think they finally decided that the neurologist would have to figure it out during programming, and that they thought they got them in the best place for the best outcome. They seem to be happy with that, so I am too, thankfully. And really, that's about the most of it. A lot of it I was out for, apparently. They actually did put me out good enough. There's some times where I felt like time had passed, and there's other times where I wasn't really sure. But there's other times where I was in continual awareness mode for a period of time. So it was all kind of a little hazy to a certain extent, but there's some clear things that I distinctly remember about them arguing about various methods and what they were going to do. And I remember at one point they were talking about we're going to put a fiducial on him to see if it's to track to see if it's off or not. And I guess they were wanting some kind of extra verification that the thing was where it was supposed to be. And to the best of my knowledge, they didn't do that. They kind of forego that because I think the doctor was pretty sure that it was accurate, and he wasn't. He was thinking maybe they could put one on there, but then I think he said, let's just do it the way it is. Let's just go with it. So they did, and well, hopefully the right side will be in good shape when the programming's done. Anyway, so next, that's when they brought me out. I came out. Everybody was happy to see me, see that I was still alive, hadn't had any massive brain damage of any kind. My memory is pretty much still intact. I could remember who people were. I could remember the date, where I was at. I could remember basic things. I do seem to be a little bit slower, but I think that's more due to being under anesthesia and the effects of the surgery itself, more than the DBS procedure. And I expect that to kind of clear up and the fog get better and better as time goes by. And today I'm actually supposed to take my bandage off, and I'll get a better look at what's underneath the skin cap there. See how bad it looks under there and how bloody it is from having been soaking in whatever for 3 days. But today's the day I'm supposed to take that off so that I'll be able to spend some time looking at my head and figuring out what to do with it. But I'm kind of mumbling at this point, but the only big thing is the only big thing left to talk about is just the much needed support and prayers of everybody, and everybody wants to help out. And we're actually, I think, going to check into a checking account because we do have some medical bills that are going to come of this. Even though I have insurance, it greatly reduces the cost of it. As I understand, this is like a $75,000 to $100,000 procedure, and we're going to probably incur a few $100 bills off of this. So as we get that, we'll be plugging it in and paying it out, and we'll probably need some help on this. So we'll probably put up an account, and as soon as I get more information on that, I'll dish it out to you. But this is where we're at and what we're going to do, and I'm so happy we're able to figure this out and end it on a good note. And so be aware that I am roaring and ready to go as soon as I can get I'm kind of on a restricted being unable to drive for a while. Thing says 30 days, but I don't know if it's going to be a total 30 days. I think as soon as my programming is done on the 10th, and I feel comfortable with that, and I'm more on an even keel. I think I'll probably be able to go on out and start driving around. I think that's the main criteria, is that I'm able to drive safely. And right now I'm probably best if I don't drive, just because of uneasiness from the anesthesia. And I'll have my operation next Wednesday for putting the battery in, which I'm really looking forward to that, because then I get all those tremors to go away, and that'll be great. Turn it on, watch everything smooth out, and I'll be looking forward to being there. And I'm grateful for all of your support and prayers and such. And I guess there's not much else to say at this point other than that. So without any further ado, it's been recording for long enough, I guess, and I will give you a release. And it's probably one of the longer ones that I'm going to need to record, just so you'll know what all happened, what all I went through, what all I did, and we'll see you soon. Till then, bye.